Hi, I'm Diane. Jackie's asked me to talk about family traditions. Going back to my childhood, the one that, that I think of fondly is our family almost every Sunday went to Grandma Hatfield's house. And they always lived out in the country. We are from West Virginia, from the Huntington area, but they always lived out in the country. So almost every Sunday, uh, everyone in the family would gravitate out there, and we would have lunch or early dinner. We usually would stay the whole day after church. Grandma Hatfield had 7 children. They all lived in town with the exception of one and Uncle Lonnie, but the rest of us all lived in the area. And there would always be platters of fried chicken, Southern style, and mashed potatoes. And Grandma and Grandpa had a garden, so there was always fresh vegetables, usually 6 or 7 on the table. Um, we had to eat in shifts. There were so many of us, and so we would eat in 2 shifts usually. And after everybody had eaten, oh, by the way, there was always chocolate cake and red jello for dessert. But after dinner, we always seemed to gravitate out to the yard, and we would always have uh, a great game of baseball with lots of competition. And I always remember my Aunt Patty. She's not that much older than me. She was Grandma's youngest child, so she's about 8 years older than me, and she was a real tom girl, and so she was always the boss of the baseball game. So that was always lots of fun. And then during the summer season, we would always get a basket and go out to the garden, and we would pick whatever fresh vegetables we needed for the week. And so that's just a really fond memory that I have. Another family memory when I was a child was usually twice a year. We would all visit the graves of our relatives that had passed on, and take flowers. And then late in the afternoon, we would go to one of the parks in Huntington. And this was usually on Memorial Day, and always have just a big picnic. And then we did it again around Labor Day. When I grew up in West Virginia, we didn't have to start back to school till the day after Labor Day. So we always had a back to school picnic. And so I really remember that quite fondly. And they always ended up in the evening with a big bonfire, and we roasted marshmallows, and we usually sang songs. My Uncle Jack was always the instigator on that. He would play guitar and we would sing. And I think that's where my love of the song Kumbaya came from. And I'm always trying to get my family to sing it anytime we have a picnic or a campfire or bonfire. So those are really memories I treasure. As far as my own family, there's myself and Steve, and then we have 2 lovely girls, Jackie and Stephanie. We were an Air Force family, so that usually meant we were very, very far away from family. So we had to make our own traditions. And one tradition that I know Stephanie and Jackie both loved was on Christmas Eve. They would beg and beg and beg to open a present. And so they were usually allowed to have one opened, and it was usually after church. We'd go to church real late for Christmas Eve, and then come home, and they would open one present. I do remember something I wasn't aware of until many years later one Christmas. I'm not sure of the ages, but I think Stephanie was probably 8 or 9. So Jackie was 3 or 4. And one of her presents was a Fisher-Price barn. And it even had doors that opened and it would moo like a cow. And I've been told that Stephanie took her little sister in and they unwrapped it the night before and peeked at it and then put it back together. I wasn't real happy about that. But anyway, it's kind of a cute little memory now. Gosh, Jackie, trying to think of any other
I think that's really good. Thank you for sharing, Mom. And I hope you guys enjoyed some of our family traditions and my mom's. And have a great year. Thanks. Bye-bye.